The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, today on Aging Horizons we're going to be talking about the Real ID. You've probably seen some of the great commercials, you've probably seen their great website. It's coming down the pike and we want you to have all the information that you need to have to get your Real ID. It's not nearly as complicated as you might think, and we have a great guest to tell us exactly what we need to do today. So today, join us.
Gentlemen, this is a secure federal facility. Do you have your Montana Real IDs?
ID. I am Captain Lewis, and this is Captain Clark.
I'm sorry, I can't let you in.
Can't go into a federal facility, can't fly. Let's go back to the river.
Yes, we'll float home. Let me check the Google. What's a dam?
Discover more at mtrealid.gov.
Montana Real ID. It's the real me.
It was a beautiful day. There was about 2 square feet of ice near the door, which I slid on and fell, cracking one rib. And I became somewhat frightening for me to walk outside, particularly in the winter. The Stepping On program came as kind of a surprise to me. I didn't know about it. I've learned the importance of proper balance. I think anybody who has fallen or is afraid of falling would benefit from this program.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. I kind of gave up on myself on quitting, but it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Hello everyone and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimmy Everman, and as I said at the top, we're going to be talking about Real IDs today. Stay with us. Don't get confused or overwhelmed, because it doesn't have to be that way. We have a great guest with us who's going to tell us pretty much exactly what we need to do, and that is Sky Schaefer. Sky, welcome.
Thank you.
And Sky, you're a management analyst with the Montana Motor Vehicle Division, and you've been working with this project, haven't you?
I have, absolutely.
So what is a Real ID?
So that's a really good question, Kimmy. So a Real ID looks very similar to your regular driver's license or your regular state-issued identification card. And the difference, the visual difference, is it has a star at the top, a gold star. And what that does is it signifies for federal agencies that that credential is a federally accepted identification card.
Got it. And that's important in this 2020 world, isn't it?
Absolutely. Beginning October 1st, 2020, to fly domestically, you have to have a federally approved card, which Real ID is one of them, as is a passport, and some others. Military IDs, etc.
Right.
But if you do not have one of those, there is the chance that TSA will not let you board.
Yeah. And I think it's important for us to remember that this is just to keep us safe and to keep everyone safe. It isn't, a grab at making us crazy or anything like that. We just really want to keep everybody safe, and we've seen plenty of stuff with our, transportation that maybe we want to avoid. No, not maybe. We want to avoid in the future.
Absolutely.
So this is a great step towards that. So what's the implementation been like? Well, first of all, let's back up for a sec. How long have you been working on this?
So in the 2017 session, Jill Cohenauer sponsored a bill to allow Montana to implement Real ID. So we spent then calendar year 2017 getting ready for that, and we began implementation January 1st of 2019. From there, prior to going live with the implementation approximately a year ago, we ended up working with Montana State University Billings for our ad campaign. Hopefully you have seen that out there.
Absolutely, it's great.
Thank you.
And they're very fun. For those who maybe haven't, although I believe everyone has, that it's Lewis and Clark, and it's a very intriguing commercial. It pulls you in.
The students did an amazing job.
Oh, that's great.
And that was done at a very low cost. We spent $9,000.
Wow.
We had 5 classes of students and a research assistant for $9,000. And they came up with market segmentations, they did the scripting, they found the actors, they worked with the production company. Some of the students are in the TV ads.
Sure, yeah.
They knocked it out of the park, and I think the state got a lot of bang for their buck for $9,000.
Well, and I have to say that it's fun to know the background, because I like the commercials. They're a lot of fun to watch. And also, before we sort of move on, let's also give a shout out to your website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So mtrealid.gov was done internal to the Department of Justice Motor Vehicle Division. We had a staff person create that. It's won some awards. We've worked really hard to make it user-friendly. On that site, it kind of is a decision tree like we talked about earlier, Kimmy.
Right.
But we also have our chat bot, which allows citizens to go through and enter information, and it walks you through what documents you need to bring to obtain a Real ID, so that it's not as overwhelming as the list of options would be.
Right.
And so that we found very helpful.
Yeah, I have to also just really say that your website's great. Been there many times to look things over, and just did a really good job on that. And I think it's very user-friendly. So has the implementation progressed pretty well as far as you're concerned?
It's gone well. We tried to roll it out kind of small in case there were little bumps, and kind of keep it... we kind of gave ourselves a little bit of a buffer and told the public it wasn't going to be available on day one, just to get our feet under the ground in case there were some bumps.
Sure.
And we did some press that morning on January 2nd, and the public was already obtaining it, because staff knew what to do. The public brought the right documents.
Isn't that great?
I know, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we were all worried. You know, we want it to be successful, so we need to give some time, and they knocked it out of the park.
Well, and you've seen, how many do you think you've issued so far?
We actually just pulled this number for Department of Homeland Security, and as of today, we're right around the 50,000 mark.
I hope you're proud of that. That's a great number.
Absolutely. Staff have done an amazing job, and the citizens have done really awesome in bringing in the right documentation. And if they did not have the right documentation, staff work with them and provide a checklist and tell them what they need to bring with them.
Yeah. So you're seeing the rollout being pretty smooth, and not tons of things that were bumpy, and a really great turnout of almost 50,000 people, or 50,000 right around people.
Absolutely.
How many do you think you're going to have prior to because there is a deadline, right?
There is, October 1st, 2020.
Okay. And do you expect another 50,000?
You know, that's hard to say in Montana, because we have passport holders, as well as military retirees and active. Yeah. It's hard to know, but we want to put it out there so people can make an informed decision and make that decision for themselves.
Absolutely.
If they need it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we'll talk about, because misconceptions are a biggie here, and we want to make sure we put those to rest, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Folks, stay with us. This is a really important issue that you want to know what you need to do about it. Whether you want it or not, that's your choice, but get the good information that you need to make a good choice about it. We have a lot more to tell you. Please stay with us.
I was the last guy you'd expect to get diabetes. I was a competitive runner and I always took care of myself. So when I was diagnosed, it kind of threw me. But it's really encouraging to know I'm not alone with it. There are a lot of other people going through the same things as I am. It takes some effort. You have to keep after it. Exercise, meds, and diet are the key. But there are a lot of folks who want me to succeed. Diabetes is not the end of the world. With effort and attitude, you can have a normal life.
Are you looking for a helping hand through the maze of human services, or for information on government programs and benefits that you may qualify for? The Information and Assistance Program provides information on all programs that meet our aging population's basic needs and programs that enhance their lives as well as the lives of their families or caregivers. If you have questions about Medicaid, Medicare, or other services and programs, please call 1-800-551-3191.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
I take care of my wife at home. When I found out training was available, I said, sign me up. It's made a huge difference.
When my husband was injured at work, it was life-altering. The classes taught me that it's okay to grieve, to ask for help, and to better cope as a caregiver.
My dad lives 4 hours away, and the Powerful Tools classes taught me that it's okay to ask for help. I highly recommend them.
To find out about this course for caregivers, go to powerfultoolsforcaregivers.org.
It's amazing the difference a little training can make.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here talking about the Real ID with Sky Schaefer from the Montana Motor Vehicle Division. Sky, welcome back. Before we move on to the misconceptions, I wanted to just touch on a little bit about the Real ID and expanded services, because you have a little bit going on there too.
We do. So we've worked really hard to add a Real ID option with our third-party authorized agent, MVD Express. So if you are in the Billings vicinity, you could go to them and they would be able to issue you a Real ID for a additional convenience fee that they charge. The other thing is we are working to add Real ID sites in our regular offices as well that were kind of too small and we didn't have the right setups. But in the last month, we've added 3 more sites.
Wow.
So again, I would encourage citizens to go to mtrealid.gov. We're keeping that list current. But Columbus, Shelby, those are kind of the sites we're looking at adding to make it more convenient so you don't have to drive as far.
And let's just make sure we say very clearly, make your appointment early.
Absolutely.
Correct?
And that should be for any driver
Right.
license service that you're trying to accomplish, whether it be, you know, a renewal or replacement. We're booked out because of the demand and our staffing. And so right now, some places are about 4 weeks out, but some are about 8. So even if it's your birthday and you're trying to put out, you can book 6 months in advance.
Oh, wow.
So get online, mtrealid.gov, and it'll walk you through how to make an appointment. And once you do that, you'll reserve your place in line, and you just show up with your documents, and we'll take care of you.
You know, I'm here to say that your website's going to be easy for that, because I've tried it. In fact, I made an appointment for my husband, and it was very, very easy. So we really want to say, folks, use that. It's a great resource.
And, you know, if you don't have access to a computer, call our call center. The number's at the bottom of the screen, I believe.
Right.
And our staff will be more than happy to take care of you, get you in at a time that works for you, and get you on your way.
Sky, thanks for saying that, because I think some of us, myself included, forget that everybody isn't on the internet and isn't online.
Sure.
And so I'm glad that you said that for our folks that don't have that capability. Now, we mentioned some misconceptions, because that's another, there's some misconceptions about Real ID that may overwhelm people or get in the way of them going forward and getting their Real ID. Could we talk about those a bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a couple of them, misconceptions that I've heard of, is that it's a federal ID. And that's not the case. It's Montana worked diligently with the federal government to ensure that we're complying with their rules and regulations, but all of your information stays within the state of Montana.
Oh, good to know.
It's not in some federal database or anything like that. We do image your documents, so if you bring in your birth certificate, your passport, and your social security, non-laminated social security card, we would image those. Again, that stays within the state of Montana, accessed by Montana citizens who work for us.
Right.
All background checked, staff.
Right. And obligated to confidentiality.
Absolutely. And so the other misconception is that your driver's license essentially becomes null and void October 1st if you don't have a real ID, and that's not the case either. If you have made the decision for yourself that real ID is not for you, then you can keep your driver's license, and that's okay. The big thing that I think is important for people to realize, if you do not have another federally approved form of identification, and check out TSA's website for more details on what those are. I don't want to speak for them. If you have to travel for a vacation, flying domestically, or a family emergency, or something along those lines, you know, last minute unexpected travel, you are going to need something to fly. And so just kind of plan in advance. Determine if this is what you need or not. Do you have another alternative that works? And if you decide that this is the path you want to take, then go ahead and start working on getting your documents so that when you come in, it's a one-stop shop and you're in and out, and we'll get you taken care of.
And thanks for sort of outlining all the different reasons why you might want to get a real ID, because at the end of the day, it is your choice.
It is.
You get to make that choice yourself. It's not going to be, as you told us, that your driver's license is still just fine without it. And I would suspect we have plenty of folks who have no reason to get on a plane or go someplace. I think of the seniors that we work with and why they would want to do this and such. But at the end of the day, make the decision based on good information.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're not going to, that's fine, but be sure that you've done your research. Go to Real ID.
mtrealid.gov.
Okay, very good. You know, if you're a person that travels, maybe you want to check out the TSA website and make sure you're aware of what is correct. You know, also for myself, I have a military ID and a passport. Well, maybe those would work for a person. But again, you can't just decide. You have to get the information. Correct?
Make an informed decision based upon your needs, because everyone has different needs.
Right.
And you're right, you know, your military ID and passport would work.
Right.
But it's up to you. Do you want to carry your passport?
Exactly.
Do you want to carry that military ID? Right. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
So.
And I think I just love to know that I can make the decision myself, and that this isn't something that's being pressed on anyone, but if you want it, it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to get. After we've had this discussion, I can tell that it's not as complicated as I thought. Folks, we have a lot more to talk about, and we're running out of time, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare Summary Notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, and my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
In 20 years at an electric utility, I've seen the hardships many of our neighbors face with high winter heating bills.
Ross Holter, Flathead Electric Co-op.
That's why I donate to Energy Share of Montana. I just hate the thought of senior citizens, and young kids especially, being cold in the winter. Donate to Energy Share. Help your neighbor stay warm.
To donate, call 888-779-7589 or go to EnergyShareMT.com. Energy Share, you can help your neighbor stay warm.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Hi folks, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're talking about Real IDs today, and we've gotten lots of information from a great guest that we have, Sky Schaefer. And Sky, you're with the Motor Vehicle Division here in Montana.
Yes.
Now let's talk about sort of what you need to do when you're going to do this. We've talked about the fact that you really want to make your appointment early,
yes,
so that you don't end up waiting a real long time. And there's several ways to make those appointments. You can go online. You can call your call center.
Yes.
What kinds of things do you suggest other than that for a person who's coming over to get their Real ID?
So the required documentation for Real ID is pretty important, because if you don't have the right documentation, unfortunately you'll have to go back and obtain it, and then come back to our stations. And so we tried to make it easy by creating the Montana Real ID checklist, and this is available on our website. We have checklists in our station, so you could stop by and just get a copy and take it home and work off of that. But essentially you have, so step one on the checklist is you need to provide something that provides your name, date of birth, and your authorized presence in the U.S. And so for most people, a certified U.S. birth certificate is what is filling that need. Now that does not mean it's the one that my husband tried to show me with his footprint on it from the hospital.
I was thinking of the copies that I have of mine.
Yes. So it has to be a certified certificate. And in our case, we had to apply to Vital Records through the Department of Health and Human Services to get a replacement birth certificate for him.
So you might have to do that. And remember that if you weren't born in Montana but you live here now, you need to go back to, you need to contact the state you were born in.
Absolutely. And most states are allowing you to do it online now. And so there's a process, but there's also phone numbers available if you need assistance that way too.
Super.
So step two is to prove your Social Security number. Most people come in with a Social Security card. The key there is that it cannot be laminated.
Yeah, please explain that.
So there was a period where a lot of people laminated their Social Security card, and for whatever reason in the regulations to issue a Real ID through the feds, they say that it cannot be laminated. I think it just shows some authenticity. And so it cannot be laminated. But some other simple things that would work is a W-2 or a pay stub, but those have to be the W-2 or pay stub where your entire social is listed. Many of those don't because they have the asterisks due to security purposes. So you could use either of those, but make sure that it has your full Social Security number listed.
Super.
And step three is Montana residency. You have to bring in 2 proofs of residency, and you could bring in 2 of the same thing. So it could be 2 of my phone bill or 2 of my utility bill showing that I live at my current address that I'm going to apply for my Real ID at.
So it doesn't have to be 2 different things. It can be just 1 month and then another month of, of a utility bill.
Absolutely.
Great, that's easy.
You know, it could be your current driver's license showing that you live at your current address. If you have moved and you haven't updated your license, that would not be sufficient. It could be a bank statement. It could be a rental agreement or an insurance bill. Any of those things would work. And so, but the other key piece is if you are someone who has had a name change, whether it be a marriage or a divorce, you have to make sure that your name is the same on all of your documents.
Okay.
So if your birth certificate has your maiden name and your social security card and your Montana residency has your married name, you need to then get your birth certificate.
Would it be a wedding or a marriage license?
You would have to provide the document showing the name change.
Got it.
So it would be kind of the license, the court decree, for a divorce, showing, here is the maiden name, here is how this ended up, at the married name.
Sure.
Walking through that, you have to kind of show that chain in order to have that work.
And I would say most people that have that usually have that kind of documentation around.
Yes.
So
and maybe it's in your safe or your lockbox. And if not, you can reach out to the clerk of court for where you filed your paperwork, and they have been very helpful, and we've been working with them, letting them know that there is a chance additional requests will be coming their way.
Sure. It sounds like not that difficult to process, and I'm really glad we had you today, because for myself, I've been nervous, and I'm not anymore.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, because it just seems like it's very straightforward. I love the checklist, so I would really encourage folks to get those, or one of those, because I know I'm going to use it. It's going to help me check off what I need to check off. But just knowing more about it, knowing I have a choice about it, having better information is just a good feeling as a consumer and as a citizen. And so this has been so helpful to talk about this. In our last minute or so, Sky, anything that you want to really leave our viewers with in terms of the Real ID?
Sure, and I would say, again, for any type of appointment for our services, please schedule in advance. Okay. mtrealid.gov will schedule your appointment. It'll provide you the checklist. We have a chat bot that can walk you through it. But it also has a whole list of frequently asked questions that you can use that we didn't cover here today that will help you make an informed decision. And I think everyone just needs to have the right information so they can make the best decision for themselves.
Right. And I think it's also important to point out that, as you mentioned, if you don't have computer access, you can call.
Absolutely.
And
we're happy to talk to you.
And you will get assistance from the call center, so it doesn't have to be technical either.
Yes.
Well, it's just been great talking with you today, Sky. And folks, this is a really, really important issue. Do your research and then decide for yourself, but reach out. We want you to get guidance and assistance. For Aging Horizons, I'm Kimmy Everman.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.